Nathan Wade was in Washington today. You remember him. Wade was, or maybe still is, the boyfriend of Fulton County DA Fani Willis. He is also the former special prosecutor in former President Donald Trump's Georgia election case. Despite an office with assistant DAs, Willis had hired Wade. He is now the former special prosecutor because Wade had to step down. This after Wade and Willis's love affair became public, and the judge issued an order saying that one of them, Wade or Willis, had to withdraw from the case. Wade chose to withdraw. His withdrawal allowed Willis to stay on the case, and today Wade appeared for a deposition in front of the House Judiciary Committee. The deposition was closed to the press, but 4 days ago, on October 11th, and before today's deposition of Wade, DA Willis sent two separate letters. The first letter was addressed to Wade. It reads in part, quote, "I write to remind you of your continuing obligation not to disclose any confidential information related to ongoing criminal matters on which you worked while you were a special counsel district attorney, including information that is protected from disclosure by grand jury secrecy rules or applicable legal privileges held by the office. To that end, this letter should serve as a formal notice that Fulton County DA is asserting all applicable legal protections and privileges over the information you obtain as a result as special counsel to this office," end quote. Now, the second letter was addressed to Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. That letter reads in part, quote, "I'm concerned that your demand for Mr. Wade's testimony would force him to improperly divulge confidential information that is protected by privileges held by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and demands that Mr. Wade violate the State Bar of Georgia rules that govern conduct of attorneys. In addition, questions about the substance of Mr. Wade's work in the case would implicate information that is protected by the deliberative process privilege, attorney-client privilege, excuse me, and work product privilege, among others," end quote. Chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good to be with you, Greta. Thanks for having me.
Why did you want to speak to him?
Because he's part of this lawfare operation in Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County going after President Trump, much like Alvin Bragg did in New York. And we spoke with people in the Alvin Bragg, Mr. Pomerantz. We spoke with him. We had to subpoena him, and the judge ruled. They took it to court, and the judge ruled in our favor, and he came and testified. We want to know what's going on because, again, remember, from the Fulton County, the disqualification procedures or proceedings in Fulton County, we learned that Nathan Wade had billed for multiple hours meeting with the January 6th committee, billed for multiple hours meeting with the White House, billed an 8-hour Zoom call with other jurisdictions involved in the investigation that they're undertaking down there in Fulton County. So that stuff that there's no privilege there. We want to know, okay, you billed for this. Who did you meet? What did you talk to him about? Who were the key people? How long? How many meetings? Where did they take place? Those are the kind of things that we would like to ask. Now, I can't say whether we asked those or not, but those are just the kind of things we know from the Fulton County disqualification proceedings that we'd like to get information on when you think about this target. Remember, Greta, you know this as a lawyer. Prosecutors are supposed to safeguard the public and go after people who've done something wrong. Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, both campaigned on going after their political opposition, both campaigned on going after President Trump. That's not supposed to be how it's done.
Okay, so this is done behind closed doors today. It was a deposition. As I understand the rules, tell me if I'm wrong, is that it's secret until a transcript is released. Those are the rules in Congress. So at some point, we'll see what was asked and how he answered, right?
Exactly. And my goal is to get that out as quickly as possible. I'd like to do it. I'd like to do it by next week. But we have to, work with a minority, the Democrats on the committee. We have to work with House counsel. And, of course, we have to work with Nathan Wade and his counsel, give them a chance to review it. But my goal is to get that out as soon as possible so that people can see what we asked and how he responded. But, again, we'll do that as quickly as we can.
All right. He was originally subpoenaed, and then these two letters written by Fani Willis. One is a very formal letter to him telling him that it's asserting a privilege, and the other was to you. Saying that she didn't want him to testify. How is it then that he happened to testify? If he has a subpoena and he's got these two letters where she says no.
Well, again, I can't get into what was done in the actual deposition, but I will tell you from experience with Mr. Pomerantz, we had a similar situation. Mr. Pomerantz came in and he answered every question that he felt he could answer. Now, we pressed him on different things. We felt he didn't really give us things that he could have. But we're not trying to get at grand jury privilege material, any other privilege that exists. But there's a whole host of things that we already know, as I said, from previous proceedings that he should be able to tell us about. And again, we'll make that information available when we release the transcript. And as I said, I hope to do that as early as next week.
Is he coming back? Did you resubpoena him, or are you finished with Mr. Wade now?
Again, we'll talk about what may be next in this investigation and all the work that we've been doing this entire Congress on what we believe is the weaponization and the lawfare of going after your political opponents. But we'll talk with our staff and our key lawyers and our chief counsel, and frankly, probably House counsel as well, to see what, if any, steps we take next.
Is the end product here a report from your committee? Because, you know, we're running into election, and the end of the year we have a new Congress. I mean, what can we expect is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's typically how we've done a number of, dozens of reports we've released this year, whether it's been on immigration, whether it's been on the whole censorship operation, or whether it's been on this lawfare activity, whether it's been on the federal agencies that have been turned against we the people, weaponized against we the people. So, yeah, that's typically how we do it, and we're working on that as we speak.
Have you learned anything new that you didn't suspect? Just looking back on this whole investigation you've been doing.
Well, we've learned that this is frightening what the left is up to. I mean, whether it's turning agencies against their political opponents, whether it's using the federal government working with big tech to censor your political opponents. I mean, I just gave a speech earlier today, and I said to the audience on the censorship issue, did you ever think you would see Donald Trump, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., and Tulsi Gabbard on the same team? They're on the same team because the left is now the party of censorship. They're trying to restrict our First Amendment liberties. And so I like to think a lot of, in fact, I called RFK Jr. up a few weeks ago when he endorsed President Trump. And we talked about this because I had him in as a witness. And Greta, I will tell you this, when I had him in as a witness a year ago, we took some heat for that. They're like, what is Jordan inviting a Democrat running for president on the, well, what's he inviting him as a witness? But I invited him in, as well as Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, all these former Democrats, invited him in because they care about free speech rights. And they came in and did a great job. And by the way, RFK Jr. said something in that hearing that stuck with me. And he said it when he endorsed President Trump. He said, when you look at history, it is never the good guys who are for censorship. It is always the bad guys. So we've done a number of reports on that subject and a host of others that we like to think has made a difference in how this new coalition is coming together in support of protecting our liberties. And of course, President Trump is leading the charge.
Well, I suppose it's beating a dead horse, but you still never got the audio tape of when you got the transcript of when President Biden spoke to his ghostwriter and to special counsel.
Yep.
I suppose now it's being dead horse, but in terms of censorship, and that was the Attorney General of the United States standing in the way of that one.
We held him in contempt, but great point. And again, we'll probably get that when President Trump wins and we get an Attorney General who's going to do the right thing.
Chairman Jim Jordan, thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.